All right, back at it again today, well, and a bit yesterday. I spent some time cleaning up the drip rails, and I'm still working on drip rails and the window channel. So this car had a lot of rot along the top, and so I've patched it in. I've done individual pieces. I would just tackle a section at a time where there was holes, just because I didn't want the roof to buckle or kind of delaminate. So what's happened here is I've just kind of gone across the entire space here. Had a lot up in this corner as well. I just cleaned out the channels in general, made sure there was no holes. We had a really big hole on the driver's side here. This whole bottom was completely rotted out, so patched that in, and I just got a lot of dirt in there right now. So I'm still grinding. So here we are in the drip rails now. So same thing here. I took a section out. Started with the middle, and then would weld that up, and then take the next portion, weld that up, and then the last bit was this front corner, which, as you can see the seam here, what I do is I grind it away. I've not welded that yet. So you want to be sure to get in there with a screwdriver and pick out all the crap that's in there. There may be some bonding agents, but I found seam sealer. I'm just going to clean that up there, and probably will flush all this in so that it's a nice pillar. And then the cool thing about the El Caminos is the back doesn't go all the way down. It ends here, and the remaining piece of drip rail was a bolt-on piece that went in here. So that saves me some effort. Just got this last little bit to do, and then I'll move on to the other side. And almost done with all the fab work now, because it's taken me forever, man. This is just crazy. So weekend after weekend, I'm hoping to get all this done. The bottom's already painted. If I can get all of my fab work done, then I can get the inside seam sealed and painted. That's gonna hit the camera, so you'll have to guess what I'm doing. All right, let's show you here. So, started cutting into the drip rail. So what I do is I come from above, cut along that seam, which leaves the roof and inner structure. You can see the two pieces there. So what I do is take like a flat disc, this kind of thing here on my grinder, and I just grind that down to get it as smooth as possible before I weld it in. And as you can see here, I've just ground that away. And the cool thing about the El Camino is it has this bump already here. So that's gonna, when it's all painted and said and done, it's gonna give a nice little profile on the edge. And what it does is it comes to the front and it starts to taper down. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that taper and blend it into the pillar here. So it's gonna look like it was always meant to be. And that's the idea. I just want something a little more modern. I'm not putting the chrome back on this car, so getting rid of the drip rails is one less piece of chrome that needs to go on there. So that's the plan. Moving right along now. Well, I found a suitable spot for the upper bracket. I just made the decision, I'm just gonna put it up high here, and I still want access to this hole so I can feed wires to the dome light. So what I'm gonna do is just put it right along that line. There's a crease line. That'll allow me to get 3 sides and a couple of plug welds. So I'll tack it in for a second here, and then I'll fully weld it in. I think they're tall enough so that when you're sitting now, it just goes across your shoulder. Finish up all the welding you need to do on the interior. So I can continue sanding now, and then epoxy, seam seal, and paint. That's the plan. Started stripping the dash and all around the top of the roof, which I think I'm gonna end up doing a full strip. Got this this tool here I picked up online so I can do my body work. I'm gonna get epoxy on here first, and then I'm gonna mud on top, as opposed to putting mud on the bare steel, which, as everybody knows, can cause rust. So here's a quick one. On the inside of these wheel tubs, there were these little brackets, so they would fit there. Now I've obviously widened the tub 2 inches, so I need to make some new ones. What I did was I took some angle, just some 18 gauge, left over from pieces I've been cutting, putting it in the stretcher, which I'll show you in a minute, but I'm just trying to get that to fit now. So those 2 orange lines here are where I need to stretch it a bit more to bring the backside in tighter. So we'll go back to the stretcher, give that a couple pulls, and see if we can get it to tighten up a bit. Okay, in the back shop here, in the tightest of corners, I've got my bumpers up, some exhaust there. Anyway, I can still get at my stretcher. So that's the area I want to just kind of stretch a bit more. So this is just a simple step on it to stretch it kind of device. So we're going to give it a bit more here. See how it starts to spread. A little more on this side. There we go. Okay, so we'll give that a go. I might have already overdone it. That looked pretty extreme. Let's see if it fits. Okay, so there's the fit. So that orange line I put there is kind of the horizontal between the bed and these inner rails here. We just want some support on this smuggler's box lid. Okay, so that's where it's fitting right now. We've got some air, not a lot on that side. What I think I'm going to do is just trim a little off this left side to bring it in tighter, and that'll give me the support in this back corner. Here's the solution. So this part here from this widening is pretty flat, so I realized that I could cut my curve, put in just a flat piece, and this is certainly more than a 90. But that lets it fit here on that orange line. And then I can just put my holes in the bottom like I do and plug weld it. And that's going to line it up with this portion here, which is the original rail, if you can see my thumb. Follows around all the way here. And it lines up with the back. So that'll give me the support in the corners. So when that smuggler's lid is on, it's got a full perimeter of support, and don't risk falling into it when I load motorcycles. I'm using this block of wood here just to lay across the flat spot so that I can see that my new piece is level. I've got a magnet holding it in. I'm going to tack the center spot, and then I'll force the outsides to conform to that shape. I'm able to manipulate it a bit because it's just 18 gauge, it's pretty thin stuff. Oh, that one's good. Cool. Alright, bring you around, show you what's up. Okay, so we're level at this plane here, going through. We want to be level at this point at the back, and underneath I'm just plug welding. I've got my holes punched, and that'll take care of it. I know I skipped a lot of stuff, but honestly, I've said it before, watching me grind or sand is boring. But here's where we're at. On the firewall, I've spent some time welding in where the joints were, so we're going to spend time body working that, flushing all this in. Underside is painted. We're going to epoxy prime the front, the dash, interior, roof, and I'll come to the roof now. I'll flash some of these pictures on screen of what it looked like when I sanded it all down. Now last night I sprayed on the Ospo, and that's what you're seeing here now, just to get any of those little divots of rust. Try and get rid of them all, so it looks like this kind of whitewash right now, but I'll sand that down today, get it all back ready for paint. I'll hit it with a DTM epoxy, and then I'll be ready to start getting this back on the frame. I just want to take care of all this dirty work before I do that, because I just think it's going to be harder to climb around. I can still rotate it, get inside. Of course, this morning I woke up with a little more ambition. I think I'm going to close out that ashtray hole, just weld it in. I don't use the ashtray, and when I build my center console, I want it to mount up to the center anyway, so it's probably going to be in the way. And I'm still on the fence, but I might get rid of that speaker hole grate. I might cut that out and weld in a flat piece. I like the idea of a flat dash. And I'm not going to have a front speaker in this dash ever, so I think it'll look cool. I might as well do it now.
Okay, here we go.
Alright, just doing the ashtray delete. I am so tired, but I've been sanding. I think I'm ready to lay down my epoxy primer now. Okay, today's a big day, getting it off this rotisserie and onto my cradle. And this wooden cradle allows me to slide the frame underneath. So I got the frame in the driveway now, tents down. Started notching the frame on this side here. See, it took 2 inches out. Have to do the other side, but I don't want to tick off my neighbors too bad. So we're gonna move that in the garage and finish it up. Got the body back in the garage. It's up on the wood stand. That way I'm able to roll it in and out, leaving the frame underneath, or roll the frame out and leave the body. Right now I'm working on the cutouts for the wheel tubs, doing everything here homemade. So this is the frame setup. It's been notched in 2 inches, the whole rail, which leaves you quite thin at this midpoint. In fact, it's probably just that thickness of metal there. But I'm using 3/8 plate down the whole side, and then what I'm going to do is gusset in the back here, so it'll be triangulated at the back and ahead. I'll do a triangle there as well. So basically what you end up with is a frame that's got this much thickness at the back side, and when it's triangulated into where we've cut it down below, down here, that's going to be as strong as it would be stock, and using the thicker metal definitely is going to add to that. And then of course, once it's bolted to the body, you've got solid rigidity. Okay, good morning. This is where I'm at with the frame notching. It's all done. Everything's been welded in position. So we've got some structure kind of making its way through to this area, because we've taken it 2 inches out here, all the way down to behind the wheel, which is just ahead of my frame mount. So once again, notched in. So that gives me good boxing right there. And then the final thing I'm going to be doing across is between these spring perches, I'm welding in a quite thick diameter tubing that'll go in between to take that any sideways stress, because this is obviously the weakest point here, where we've shaved down 2 inches, brings you almost to the inside. So there's really not a lot of boxing in this area. So that structure between this area is going to help support that. Yeah, so I think that's it. I'm going to continue grinding. I'll show you on this side where I'm at. So this has all been smoothed out, and you know, the good news is with having this powder coated, I suppose kind of sucked that I did it first, but I've only made a mess in this area, so I can tape off here, kind of spray paint in this. It's behind the wheel anyway, so hopefully that won't mess up too much with the look of this frame, and I can match the satin finish. So let me show you what the frame looks like with the modifications. It's all nice and black, and really with a slight tonal variation to the powder coated frame. It doesn't look that terrible. What I ended up doing was using Steel It Black, and that's a really nice durable finish, really hard like the powder coat. Again, it's got that stainless steel in it, so that's going to survive quite well, I think. And you can see the crossbar I put in there, as I was saying. So I think we're pretty structured. We'll find out obviously when I'm going down the road, but I think it worked out pretty good. And I'll take you around, show you the other side here. Same thing. All nice and black. That's gonna do it for this episode. Once again, thanks for watching. Click that subscribe button and stay tuned for the next one. I'm gonna be throwing some more paint down, a little more body work, and hope to get this firewall painted, and then I can get it on the frame for good. See ya.